On the night of February 1st, 1959, 10 young hikers embarked on a journey deep into the northern Ural mountains, aiming to reach a remote peak called Otawartan. A few days later, only one would return alive. The other 9 would vanish, leaving behind a mystery that has haunted the world for over 6 decades. Their deaths, horrifying, bizarre, and still unexplained, gave birth to a legend, the Dyatlov Pass Incident. They were students and graduates of the Ural Polytechnical Institute, experienced hikers, well prepared for a challenging winter trek. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was a 23-year-old radio engineering student. They were strong, smart, and full of life. On February 1st, the group established camp on the eastern slope of a mountain, known in the local Mansi language as Kolat, Sayakal, which ominously translates to Dead Mountain. What followed that night would turn their legend into tragedy. Weeks later, on February 26th, rescuers finally found their tent. It was half buried in snow and had been cut open from the inside. Inside lay their boots, their warm coats, their cameras, even a plate of sliced pork fat left untouched. Everything was there, as if abandoned in a hurry. But the hikers, they were gone. Footprints leading away from the tent told a chilling story. They showed that the group had fled in a panic, some barefoot or only in socks. Others wearing just their underwear, running headlong into a freezing Siberian night where temperatures plunged to -30 degrees Celsius. Why would experienced hikers abandon their shelter and their gear to face certain death in the cold? Searchers soon found the first 2 bodies beneath a tall pine tree, about a mile from the abandoned tent. They were shoeless and nearly naked, with signs they'd frantically tried to build a fire. The branches of the pine tree were broken as high as 5 meters off the ground, suggesting one of them had climbed it, perhaps. Desperate for a better view, hoping to spot the camp or to escape whatever was pursuing them. Further into the woods, 3 more bodies were discovered, including Dyatlov himself. They were positioned as if they had been trying to make their way back to the camp. One of them had a small crack in his skull, but there were no footprints around him, a detail that only deepened the mystery of his final, agonizing struggle. The real horror, however, wasn't discovered until May 4th, when the spring thaw revealed the final 4 hikers. They were found under 4 meters of snow in a ravine near a stream. Their injuries were shocking. They had suffered severe chest fractures and skull damage, injuries that one medical examiner compared to the force of a high-speed car crash. Yet, strangely, there were no external wounds, no signs of a fight. Some had missing eyes, and one was missing her tongue. The official cause of death was listed as a compelling unknown force. The official Soviet investigation was closed quickly, almost too quickly. 6 of the victims were declared dead from hypothermia, while the deaths of the other 3 were attributed to their severe physical trauma. But no satisfactory explanation was ever given for what caused that trauma, or what made them flee their tent in the first place. And from that moment, the speculative engine roared to life. Dozens of theories emerged, each trying to make sense of the impossible scene. Were they attacked by the local Mansi people? The investigation found no evidence. Was it an animal attack? The injuries didn't match. Soon, more sensational theories took hold. Secret Soviet weapons tests gone wrong, a UFO sighting, exposure to infrasound that induced irrational panic, or even an encounter with a supernatural creature like the Russian Yeti. For decades, the story of Dyatlov Pass lingered as one of the most chilling and fascinating unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Until recently. In 2021, 2 scientists, Johann Gaum and Alexander Puzren, published a groundbreaking study in the journal Communications, Earth and Environment. Their conclusion offered a startlingly plausible, scientific explanation for the tragedy. The hikers likely died due to a rare and specific kind of snow disaster, a delayed slab avalanche. According to their model, the group had unintentionally created the perfect conditions for a catastrophe. To pitch their tent on the snowy slope, they had cut a flat platform into the snowpack. This action, unbeknownst to them, disturbed the layers beneath. A weak, unstable layer of snow remained buried under a heavy, solid slab of snow. Over the next several hours, katabatic winds, a natural phenomenon where cold, dense air rushes downhill, began piling more and more snow above their tent. This added weight and pressure onto the already precarious slab. Eventually, the weak layer underneath couldn't hold any longer, and it collapsed. A slab of snow slid down, crushing the back of the tent where the hikers were sleeping. This wasn't a huge, dramatic avalanche that would have buried the entire landscape. It was a relatively small, slow-moving slide, which is why the rescuers later found no classic signs of an avalanche. The tent was damaged, not obliterated. This invisible avalanche theory explains why the original investigators found nothing unusual about the snow on the slope. The scientists used advanced simulations, even incorporating data from automotive crash tests, to analyze the potential injuries. Their models showed that a slab of snow, even one just a few meters wide, could slam into a person with enough force to cause severe internal trauma, broken ribs, fractured skulls, without leaving significant external wounds. This perfectly matches the injuries found on the victims in the ravine. Furthermore, the sudden collapse and the crushing weight of the snow help explain the sheer panic. Waking up in darkness, pinned down, with some of their friends already severely injured, the hikers would have been terrified and disoriented. Cutting their way out of the tent would have been the fastest, most instinctive way to escape. They weren't thinking about their boots or coats. They were fighting for their lives, trying to get away from what they perceived as an immediate, ongoing threat. Terrified and confused, they ran downhill toward what seemed like the safest place, the forest edge. But once there, in the pitch black and brutal cold, their fate was sealed. Disoriented, hypothermic, and with some of them catastrophically injured, they succumbed to the elements or to their internal trauma. The ravine where the last bodies were found might have filled with more snow over the following months, hiding their final resting place until the spring thaw finally revealed the full extent of the tragedy. So, has the Dyatlov mystery finally been solved? For many, yes. The 2021 slab avalanche model provides a clear, logical, and scientifically plausible explanation. It accounts for the damaged tent, the severe internal injuries, the bizarre, footwear-free escape, and the delayed discovery of the bodies. It ties all the strange, disparate pieces of the puzzle together into one coherent narrative. And yet, not everyone is convinced. Critics point out that local guides and experienced hikers have long maintained that avalanches simply do not happen on that particular slope. They argue that the lack of any visible avalanche debris at the time is still a major flaw in the theory. And then there are the mutilations, the missing eyes, the missing tongue. While scavenging animals or natural decomposition in water could be an explanation, for some, these injuries remain deeply unsettling and feel like they go beyond what a simple snow slab could cause. These lingering questions keep the other theories alive. The ideas of secret weapons tests, infrasound-induced madness, or even paranormal involvement persist. They continue to fascinate us, not necessarily because they explain the facts better, but because they satisfy a different kind of human craving. Our fascination with the unknown, with the idea that there are forces in the world beyond our comprehension. Perhaps the absolute, final truth about Dyatlov Pass will never be universally accepted, because sometimes mysteries aren't just solved by facts. Sometimes their resolution depends on what we are willing to believe. What we do know for certain is this: 9 young, vibrant lives ended in horror on a desolate mountainside. Their shelter became their tomb, a tomb they had to tear open from the inside to escape. Their final footprints vanished into the snow. Their bodies were found scattered, broken, and buried. And for more than 60 years, their story has inspired fear, curiosity, countless theories, and profound grief. Today, thanks to modern science and advanced modeling, we might be closer than we have ever been to understanding what really happened that night. A slab of snow, a frightened group of friends, a bitter winter night, a desperate rush for survival, a tragedy born from a cascade of unfortunate events. But somehow, even with a scientific explanation, the horror remains. The image of those 9 hikers fleeing into the frozen darkness is impossible to shake. The unknown, it seems, still lingers on Dead Mountain. In memory of the Dyatlov group, may their story remind us to always respect the power and mystery of the mountains. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as compelling as I did, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries.